I know. Well, I'm sorry. So we're gonna get going. It is 7:17 on Wednesday, August 27th, and I'm gonna call the Westboro Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. First on our agenda is public forum. Being none, I'm gonna move into director's report.
All right, so this will be fairly short. I know we have kind of a long meeting ahead of us, but kind of the first month I felt confident pulling some data just because we would have been comparing apples to oranges. This is a little bit apples to oranges too, since we're in our new space and we're comparing it to last year in our old space. No real big surprises here. Physical circ down a little bit, digital circ up kind of the same amount. In terms of percentage, really no change in items received from other libraries, which to me was a little bit of a surprise, given that to fit in this space, we culled our collection quite a bit. So we would have expected more items having to be brought in from other libraries. We're not really seeing that, which is good.
That just speaks to you guys did a great job of choosing which books to pull off the collection.
I like to think so. And then, new cards issued. It's such a small number that it skews. And then registered card holders are actually up, which is really surprising, only given that CW Mars have done a number of large purges over the last year. Several that have impacted kind of our overall card holder number. One due to number of fines and another one just based on how many years expired they are. And then just kind of wanted to pull the check numbers for you because it's funny, we probably would have just said off the top of our head that our public computer usage is up, and it kind of looks like it's very similar in here, which is funny. And then Wi-Fi usage.
We do have 2 fewer computers.
We do it, yeah, so that
So
could be
that's
why it
fine.
feels
Yeah,
that
yeah.
way. And then website visits up, but just very slightly. But one of the interesting things that we've been doing in this space is we've been doing daily door count, where in the old space we did kind of a weekly, cumulative, yearly look. So we couldn't really look at busiest days in terms of visiting the library. Here we've been tracking that since day one. And so confidently, we're able to say, in July, which is kind of our first solid month, we had almost 12,000 people visit this space. And it's a huge number. And when you kind of average that out on days open, and this is not counting, so Saturdays are counting the same as any other day, and Friday is counting the same as an 11-hour day, but just generally average per day, we're at about 460. So we have, almost 500 people. It's typical to see a day with 600 people through our doors. And so really, really heavy usage here in the space. And again, no surprises here. Busiest times by circulation, Saturdays 11 a.m., Saturdays 12 p.m., and Tuesdays at 2. There's always kind of a random, sometimes it's Monday at 11. Sometimes that really depends on what a program is. It kind of skews that, but yeah, again, Saturday is the busiest day.
Are you noticing any difference between the pattern when people came to the old facility and where I'm wondering about if there's a shopping center effect?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell based on the statistics we kept. The only thing that we can really look at is our circulation data by hour. So that's what I'm pulling here. And I will say it's very similar in terms of circulation data. Not only here are we looking at door counts per day, but we also do a walk around every hour where we take a snapshot of who's in the building. And so that data is also really rich and will be really interesting to look at once we get back into the old building, but we don't have enough of it to really make any assumptions yet. But that will also help us kind of use circulation data and people in the building data to have a more complete picture of how our building is being used on a daily basis.
Thanks.
Yeah. ARIS report, so our statistics portion. So ARIS is broken down into 2 parts. There's a statistics portion and there's a financial. Statistics is done and filed. So Lynn does a huge amount of that work. So shout out to Lynn for completing it. And I know last year you kind of got thrown into getting it done because there was no director here. But sometimes learning the hard way makes it easier the next year. And the rest of the leadership team who also pulled data for that report. So financial will be due, I believe, October. It's like the
First week of
week.
October.
And so that will be interesting to look at. Library things update. So Caitlin Staples, our technology and collections librarian, has been really looking at updating that collection, what cases they're in, making sure that the items we have in it make sense for our collection. And we've seen it go out a lot in this space where it's a little bit more visible. This is also really going to help us determine not only where it lives when we move back, but what the packaging, what the, what hooks we need, just kind of how that looks. So the work is being done now for that. So you've probably noticed, it's right over there, that all the packaging is kind of getting more uniform, and we've been utilizing, 6 months ago, maybe, we bought a Cricut machine and we have been using that. So that's what we used for all of it's like a vinyl cutting machine. You're probably familiar, but that's what we use to cut all the floor, decals, all the things are on the wall. And we've also been using it for the packaging of the Library of Things. We did it on the Tony boxes first, and now we're doing it on the rest of our collection. And we did add, well, we actually added another pressure washer, but we also added Enchroma colorblind glasses to our collection this month. And it was through a kind of like a museum and libraries project that they have, where you get 4 pairs of glasses, which is essentially about half off what they would retail. And the idea is that patrons can come who deal with color blindness or have family members who are colorblind. They can come in, they can borrow the glasses, they can get a museum pass to the MFA, and they can go see the art the way it's supposed to be seen. And it really makes them accessible because these retail at about $350 a pair. And so you really want to make sure that they're going to work before you invest. And I will say, before we added them to the collection, I did test them out on my brother-in-law, who cried his eyes out when he put them on and said, "Is this what it looks like to you guys?" And I said, "Yep." So it does make a big difference in this very small portion of the population, but a good investment for us in terms of accessibility. And there was a story in Patch about it, so that was kind of nice to see. And then, even though this is it's August, but it's a July report, we did survive summer reading. I think everyone has a sigh of relief. It was very successful this year. We had, about 270 kids join. I don't know if we have the adult number yet. 75 teens, which is really hard to get that population in to do.
You said people at the end.
Yeah.
270 at the finale.
At the
We had to
finale.
get 400 sign up.
Participate.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a ton of adult reviews. We made a book list out of it. So you can go and see we call it our Aspen website, but it's really our catalog. Karen Mattis and Tracy worked together to put together a list of all the books that people recommended to us from the adults with their reviews next to it. So we can we're trying to do more online stuff that way. So yeah, really, really successful summer reading program. I think we're excited to see what comes in the fall, and we're already planning on next year because we know we will likely be in this space. And we have learned a lot of lessons about being in this space over this last year, which we will then promptly forget after next year because we will be back in our old space, hopefully. And that is all I have for director's report.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I think great work as usual, and summer reading program really was a big success, had great reviews. My little first grade neighbor was one of the winners, she was very excited. So, that's fine. Thank you. Next up on our agenda is community board policy. So if you remember from last month, we discussed this as a new policy. We haven't had one previously. So we are reviewing it, and then we will take a formal vote.
I didn't at least receive any changes from anybody. So this is the same version we presented last month.
Does anybody have, well, I'll take a motion to accept this, and then we'll have a discussion about Thank you. And a second, Mike? Okay, so we'll open up discussion. Does anyone have any questions about it, comments, or edits that you'd like to make currently?
No, it just sounds like a really good idea, you know?
Yeah. And so I just want to review that if someone is going to bring in a flyer, they go to the desk and there's a location to drop it off.
Mhm.
And then from there, one of you review it, is that correct?
Yep.
How long, do we say how long the turnaround is from when someone drops something off to when it's gonna get posted? What should people expect from that?
Yeah, we don't. I would say, what we will probably do, because this is like a policy procedure thing. It's hard to put it into policy that we're gonna look at it after 1 week. I would say a week is a fair amount of time, that if you want it up there, I think we can probably commit to a week, one of us looking at it or one of the leadership team. Most likely it will be much less than that,
Okay.
but I can't imagine it taking longer than that to get something up on the board.
Hearing no questions or comments, then I will take a vote. All in favor of adopting this new policy? Anyone opposed? Great. All right, all set. So. So right on time. Next up on our agenda is our director's annual review. Thank you everyone for participating in the review process this year. As you know, this is one of our responsibilities to do annually, and the process was as follows. We all filled out a rating scale. We have elicited some staff feedback to help inform us of our rating scales, and that's all compiled into composite scores, and comments are also compiled and presented to our members. So tonight's job is to just review our performance evaluation is broken into 4 categories, and the ratings for each are needs improvement to consistently meet job standards, consistently meets job standards, or exceeds job standards. It's a 3 scale rating category. I think we've had a super successful year, and so we appreciate all your hard work. Under our first category is developmental leadership, service delivery, and personnel management. We've done a great job. Our overall rating is approaching meeting job standards with strengths in technology, adaptation, and professional development support. In the category of financial management, overall rating of exceeding job standards with strengths in budget management, capital project management, and relocation planning. The next category is community leadership, public relations, and communications, with an overall rating of solidly meeting job standards. Strengths include community outreach, public presentations, praised for your meeting at town work, your work at town meeting. And then the 4th category is personal and professional leadership with an overall rating of meeting job standards, strengths, flexibility, and adaptability, and commitment to professional growth. Over the past year, Director Kate Craccio has demonstrated strong skills in financial management, capital project oversight, and community engagement. You've successfully guided the library through a positive town meeting vote to a relocation of temporary space, kept the repair project on track through creative use of budget for a temporary location, and played a key role in the public support throughout effective communication and outreach. Your vision for the library's future and commitment to technology and professional development have positioned the department for a long-term growth and modernization. At the same time, the evaluation highlights important opportunities for development in leadership and team culture. As you've been identified at our previous trustee meeting, and feedback indicates that staff morale and communication need focused attention, with particular need for clear expectations, consistent performance feedback, and more inclusive, supportive environment. Strengthening interpersonal communication and fostering collaboration, and empowering staff through greater delegation will be critical for sustaining a healthy workplace culture. With your strong strategic and operational skills already evident, continued growth in these areas of leadership will enable you to elevate both team performance and overall impact of the library within our community. I'm gonna start it off and saying we can go around and anybody is welcome to add their input. Anybody? Go.
I would just like to say that I think coming into the library at this with this huge challenge ahead of us of the vote and the move and all of the temporary move and then planning for the permanent move and everything. I think Kate has done a tremendous job in keeping us moving, keeping us developing as a library. And I just think she's done a wonderful job.
I think Kate's done an amazing job as well, especially in this, it's hard to come into a situation like this where everything's kind of been the same for a long time and then this big change and then you're a change, on top of this big change. And so I think that you've maneuvered it really well and, not even just the big thing of the move, but these little, like not little, but like these small, but really important and impactful things like I'm totally blanking out the name of the box that with the music things and then the color blindness glasses. So it's almost like it's, big changes, but then small changes, which I think are really innovative and impactful.
Anybody else?
Well, just a quick point. I'm particularly pleased with the fact that in the midst of all this flux, community still perceives this as being a welcoming place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know when it was election season, the openness and the accessibility of the joint was up for grabs in a sense. And in terms of community perceptions, I think it's going absolutely in the right direction. Thank you for that.
And I agree with everything that Kate and Julia said. This has been a complex time, both publicly and within the library, because there's two kinds of changes. There's everything that's happening with the town and everything that's happening within the library when there's new management. And that's not simple, that's not easy. And there's a lot of science about how long it takes. There's even a name for it called change management. And, that's two big complex things that you've dealt with beautifully. And I'm very impressed and I thank you for it.
Thanks, Jenny. Go ahead, Ray.
Kate has an affinity for organization and project planning, which just happened to work really well with what we needed here. And that it was noted in her interview that was something that she herself credited herself with, that she was able to manage a problem, find the solutions, and knock it down into smaller steps. And I think that was a huge success in going from disaster to of the other building and the move. When movers congratulate you for having the best job done in moving large quantities of materials from the moving company, that's a good sign of someone's abilities. And so I think that's a portion of the her report is sound, and I was glad to see that it was consistent with she said in her interview, and then what we saw Tuesday.
So I think, definitely what we've gone through over the past year is no small feat. And you've accomplished a lot in a short period of time. And I think overall, we're really excited in the direction of the library's going. Thank you very much. Just so everyone knows, the next part of this process is that myself, Kate, and Kate will take the suggestions for goal area and we'll go into a goal setting session for us to determine goals for Kate for the upcoming year ahead of us. And then that'll complete our process.
So will we be breaking down all of the parts tonight of the different sections, or just that first part you read?
So I gave a breakdown of each rating in the category and then the part that I read.
All right, so can we speak about some of the individual sections? Because I was looking at it as an overhaul. While you're trying to do a major overhaul, there's some things that fall through the cracks as not being as important as getting the books on the shelf in the right order or whatever. And from comments from various people, there is a feeling that one of the pieces that is falling that we mentioned before was the attention to the humans, not just the books and the placement of how they're dealing with the change. And one of the most important parts in leadership is knowing how to balance getting the job done and keeping your staff whole and happy to, and working with you. And so I think that that's an area that we can work on together to, so both of the talents that she has will grow and have an opportunity to blossom into an executive who has the feel for the people who work here and bigger pictures of the whole building and how it's going, and be able to do those in equal success, because you have great potential for that. And I want to make sure that the director has all of the skills and all of the support in areas that are not her strongest suit, and that we can support her in that way.
Thank you. Anything else? All right. Thank you, everybody. And then the next part of our agenda, I lost the agenda. Thank you. Yes. Standing agenda items, open items list. I don't.
That's something I
What
want.
is it?
I saw
Oh,
colors
it's
on
on
my
the
board.
oh, okay. Suggestion box. Guess what? We have suggestions.
No
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of them
No
too.
way.
This is really exciting. I know, it's actually very exciting, and I love the community engagement.
You should have seen
so-
my face when I looked in the box.
The first one was a request to keep the fairy garden at the library when it's renovated. And then the next one is, one that, well, nope, it doesn't reply to this one, but is a request to please pay attention to the arts section of the Sunday Boston Globe, where the authors are interviewed. They are often asked what books they often recommend to friends. And so a suggestion was to acquire the books that are recommended through that, which the Boston Globe, the Sunday Boston Globe, and the authors section. This is a concern about the floor plan here. It says the library has a very open floor plan and sound carrying. And they were asking, would it be possible to make some small partitions for quiet areas? So I know that we still have some work that you wanted done here. So I mean, I don't know if people are aware of our what is that called? The Nook.
The
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on that. Is a super quiet space, so maybe we can do some PR about the Nook is here for when people need it. I know it's a popular place, but it is an area where it can be nice and quiet. It is one of the challenges of being in a place like this, and to remind people it is a temporary location. Nice to see that, nice idea to have the suggestion box, but what exactly does a trustee do? What are they responsible for? A little Q&A or FAQ about such next to the suggestion box might increase participation, which I think is a fantastic suggestion. And then, as it says, I hope you bring back the free magazine rack that we had in the old library to the new library. And I think I'm a little confused about that.
That's where the people
That
bring
was
the
the
magazines they're not
typo.
using anymore.
Yes.
And I take them to the dementia unit my husband used to be in, so I'd like them back too.
Don't need them there all the time. I know, I wish.
Yeah, it's tough because we have a lot of challenges in the old library. The number one challenge is square footage
Yeah.
and space. So there's so many things we would love to have, but we have to weigh priority. And so we'll have to kind of see how that shakes out with the plan and design. Yeah, I think one of the things that is tough, we were having a whole discussion about it in terms of the comment box, because we get feedback all the time, is that one suggestion is not a trend. And so we have to kind of look for patterns. If we get 50 people saying, oh my gosh, that magazine rack was more important than whatever, then we can weigh that priority higher.
Right.
And so I do think, I think one of the suggestions in there that is a really good one is looking at an FAQ, and I know Lynn was putting together some version of what's a really quick answer to what does a trustee do, so that people know what this is for and where it's going. Actually, that is a really good suggestion. And so, yeah, I don't know if you're fine sharing that with the group or if we're just good to throw something up there with it.
Well, I definitely think share it with us.
I'll
first.
share, yeah, sure, I'll send it out to you tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's great.
Anytime you can inform the public is even better and engage public.
Mm-hmm. I love that there's so many.
I know.
That's
And
all.
all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I don't know what happened this
We've been
month.
asking-
Yeah.
I mean, this is different, right?
No, I know.
So fun. Yeah.
Wow.
I think this is the most we've had since. the whole-
Ever?
Planning situation.
Yeah, I was like, Lynn, you're sure you checked it last month? I'm like, yes.
But, let me see something. Community outreach.
So as I said, we're doing a talk at the Highlands on October 21st. I haven't yet got in touch with the director of the senior center, but I plan to do that. And then I had a lovely interaction with the Friends of the Library at the last book sale. I was there buying word books to donate to families at the early intervention program where I work who don't have books. And I met Sandy. And she said, "Oh, are you a nonprofit?" Yes, I do. She said, "Well, we like to donate to nonprofits." And I got a huge box of board books to donate to the families and the play group at our center, and a big bag of preschool books to donate to the families who have older children. And I get to do this every month. I sent a photograph to my program director and my play group director, and they were so excited. And so this is thrilling because many families don't have them, and hundreds of kids will get to use those books in the play groups. So I'm pretty excited.
They
Friends is a
donate to
pretty
my,
awesome group.
two libraries that I have, one at a shelter for homeless veterans. And the other one, that's how I found out you were in the military. And another one to Windsor Ridge, where most of the women are there with young children, but they don't have cars and many don't drive. So I started a library in the leasing office. And so now we have adult and children books that I get from them at the end. But I do volunteer, so I don't feel guilty about it.
Well, my director replied, her next goal for the program is literacy. And I said, well, you know what? I am now saying to parents often, if you want your child to be a reader, they need to see you reading. And I had one mom start reading and get on Goodreads and got a Friends list. And I'm like, okay, I'm on it, so who knows where this might go.
Exciting. Yeah.
Next up, library director, assistant director, trustee issues.
I just want to say, you said you're going to the Highlands on October 21st?
One of the things that we don't have on our agenda this month, that I was just gonna put in here is update on the repair project. Things are starting to kick along over there. We just had a LBC meeting this week, and so the recording will be up on that if you wanna. It was a short meeting, so because things are just starting to kick off, they're doing some abatement of asbestos there to get ready for the windows and things like that. So it'll be next month, there'll be a longer update on things that have happened, but things have finally kicked off and they're in a regular group over there. So.
And are they putting up photos regularly of what's happening inside the building?
So there are photos in the LBC stuff, as part of like the monthly packet that we get.
Okay.
And occasionally we'll.
I'm going to, so I don't know if you've noticed, but on the building project tab on our website, I'm gonna start doing a monthly kind of update, what's going on,
Like a blog.
like a little, and put pictures up of what's been going on.
Oh, I think people will really like that.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Lynn and I have been very purposefully attending in person the weekly construction meetings. I think we're getting a lot out of being there, like physically.
You go in there?
Yep, in the
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
hat area,
yeah.
Lynn bought us hard hats. She's like, I have a present for you. I was like, oh God, thank goodness.
Pictures of you in the hard hat?
Not
Right.
yet. We don't go together. We should probably go together.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need a picture.
We've been trying to spare each other. But yeah, I mean, it's great. The construction team is super responsive, really nice. Bob, the guy who's there full-time as part of our OPM team, is like emails us constantly I got an email from him the other day, like, just so you know, the alarms are gonna be going off. You might get emailed. I'm like, thank you for telling me now.
Yeah.
So it's been a really good meeting for us to be able to attend and really get into the nitty gritty of what's going on over there so that we have an idea. Because we're, it's very
Yeah,
common for us to
yeah.
get questions about it. And also to be able to share that information with staff, so that they have an idea of what's going on, because I think everybody here is so vested in this project. That they're curious about what's going on. But one of the big things is we still don't have, we talked about the skylight last time. There's been some interest in the skylight. We don't have numbers yet. So we're still kind of in a place where we're not sure if we're going to be able to restore it or not. But we hope to have numbers by the next LBC meeting, which is September 16th.
16th, yes.
So we, just so everyone knows, we moved the LDC meetings to the third Tuesday of the month at 3:30 on Zoom instead of the fourth Tuesday of the month, in an effort to be more efficient with timing for when their vendor packet comes out and when, reports are ready to be filled and changes made and move on. So instead of their vendor packet and invoices being done the second week of the month and waiting to the fourth meeting, everything will be more timely.
So the third Thursday
So
of the
third
month,
Tuesday,
when?
third
third
Tuesday.
Tuesday at 3:30 on Zoom, and the agendas are always on the town website as well.
And everybody here gets.
And you're doing them in person.
No, so
That's a
LBC,
separate-
yeah.
Oh.
LBC is once a month. It is on Zoom. It's the third Tuesday. The construction meetings
Oh,
are every week, Tuesday, 1 PM at the library. And so those are the ones that we attend. Actually, we attend both.
Okay, so every week you're doing those applications.
Mhm.
And we get a 3-week look ahead, so we can kind of see what's gonna be coming in the next 3 weeks.
So in the next 3 weeks, you might see the windows.
Yeah, it's
In the
windows.
historic building gone and replaced with
Lexi and wood.
plexiglass or
Plywood.
plywood.
Yeah. Not the way they're staying, but
They're going out to be restored.
Yes.
so.
Glaze.
Restored, repaired and
Yeah.
restored, yeah.
Any other, library director, assistant director issues? that we're-
Yes, we have a few things.
Okay.
So one is I promised to come to you guys with, this is like a really basic, and we can get more into this as we go, but basic look at hiring a consultant to work with myself and you all. Just in terms of change management, transition, understanding what the role of the board is, building relationship with a new director, which I think is always tough. And also kind of navigating through, we have a new strategic plan, and this is a really good time to be doing this work, right? Under this new strategic plan, what are our goals as a board? What are our goals in working as a board? And so I put this in the drive. You can take a look at it if you want, but really it's what are the focus areas? Change management, board director relations, and goal setting, really basic, but really important work. What are the benefits? Smoother transitions during organizational change. However much we've gone through this last year, I anticipate the next 2 years being just as much. We're going through a construction project, we're moving back into a building, and anytime your physical space changes, your workflows have to change. And so that will kind of be in change for quite some time. And just having a clear roadmap for library priorities. It's really important for me to understand what your priorities are as a board so that I can then attack those in order. And so I kind of put some feelers out with some directors who have worked with boards and consultants and see who is out here. I got 3 names. I can gather more, but I didn't contact anybody without kind of coming to you guys first and saying, is this a direction that we want to go in? Is this timing right? And so there's a few, Breakthrough Collaboration was highly recommended. They work a lot with nonprofit and government entities in Massachusetts. So really familiar with the constraints you have to work under, which is super helpful versus getting somebody from the corporate world who's like, oh, just do this. And you're like, well, we can't. Maura Didi, we've all worked with before. She was a library advisory specialist for the MBLC. She now has a kind of a advisory company that she does on her own as a consultant. And so she kind of specializes in all of this, very familiar with Massachusetts, very familiar with libraries, very familiar with cities. And then Maxine, I've never heard of, but a lot of directors did report positive working with her and great outcomes. So these are the three that kind of stood out. I can do some more work to see if there's another one that we want to look at. I can reach out and see if we want to get proposals from the three. But I wanted to bring this to you guys to my recommendation, which is to approve the hiring of consultant, or at least a proposals from consultants to begin work to guide board and director through change management, goal setting, and strengthen governance. So I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about this kind of beyond the director's report. So I don't know.
So we'll open it up for discussion.
Question.
Go ahead.
It's there, I swear. Is this like any other contract? We would have to do a RFP, or is it small enough we won't have to do that?
So if we're spending under 10,000, you wouldn't have to do an RFP. I would not anticipate us spending more than that.
Okay, so we could ask for proposals from all three and decide what the proposal is, or we could find somebody else. Excuse me, I just want to make sure of that because I forget things. Do you think it's worthwhile to get more than one proposal, or should we target?
I mean, I think it's probably worth reaching out to more than one person and kind of hearing what they have to say. You might even get, like, in that conversation, somebody might have a different idea for how to approach it that fits more in line with how this board works. And sometimes that's worth investing more in, or, you know, so I think it's worth having conversations with more than one person, and then kind of guiding it from there.
Is anybody, those of you who's been a trustee for a while, you've been a while, is this something that the library has done in the past?
No, we've had consultants of different sorts.
Right,
but
but for
this-
kind of in this role.
No, but then we haven't gone through changes. Like we're going
Right,
through
yeah, I know we haven't,
This is
so.
I mean, you're the
I'm not saying it's.
director I've
a
known.
problem,
One had been here like forever,
right,
and then Maureen was hired, and then she was here like forever, and
Right.
so there was no change, don't happen.
right, yeah. So, no,
No.
I think it's a good opportunity for a reset.
yeah, no, I
You know, and I will say,
I
We
certainly
probably not
understand
done
the
it
argument
here.
for it.
it is fairly common in libraries to do this type of work. I know right now they're doing this work in Brookline, they're doing this work in Worcester. There's a few others when I put feelers out there, like, yep, we're doing this right now with our board. We just did an exercise on X, Y, and Z. But it is also common to never see a consultant unless you're doing your strategic planning. So that's probably the experience here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a great idea. I would really look forward to it.
May have been discussed, but where do the funds come from?
So for something like this, we would be looking at trust funds. My guess is that's usually where strategic planning consultants, sometimes
state
not
aid.
state aid.
Yeah.
I would look to trust funds for that, and Lynn and I can do some work on what funds are allowed to be used for that and what those balances are, because that is also difficult to find out. So that you can make an informed decision when time comes.
And does it have to be presented to the town, or like do it together?
No, we would.
No,
we have
you
to
are the
approve-
approving.
We're the privy building for the use of those funds. And as long as we're following the stipulations per now. Any other?
So, well, I guess I want to just understand, so then the next step would be to reach out to, let's say we were gonna go with these three, to reach out to them and get proposals from these three, and then, cause I guess I just want to understand more what the process would be from them.
Yeah, I think that's a logical next step to reach out to these three and say we're exploring the possibility of engaging with a consultant, around those focus areas. And then have them write a proposal and then we'll look into it from there. Cause I think that will give us a better idea of the
Mhm.
kind of work that they do, since we've never done this kind of work before. And if that, then we would be able to better determine if that's something that fits or aligns with the direction we're going. So, does anyone have any objection to pursuing proposals for future discussion?
I hope that we do that.
Yeah, so I would say go ahead on these three.
Okay.
And get a proposal from them. Sure. And then we'll discuss it the next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright.
So, that was one thing. I had one other thing that I wanted to discuss with you, and this kind of came from an email, I got from Frank in the economic development
Yeah.
office. And this was really new. This was new news to me. I will say part of this ask was a surprise to me, or I would have brought it to you sooner. I was not a part of this process. There was public input sessions, but in terms of discussion with the library director, this is the very first time that I've been engaged in this conversation. And which is why it's the first time you all are being engaged, and maybe you've been engaged in it and I just haven't been. However, in the last select board meeting, they did present this project they've been working on for wayfinding in the town to get a unified wayfinding look through a grant. And so really what they've settled on is kind of it's not final, but it's final. What they will be changing is location, some wording, some things, but this was what was presented to the select board. And what the select board kind of came back with was, because I watched it, because I got this email and I said, "Ooh, what is this about?" And really what the select board wants to know is, will the departments that are controlled by a board follow this? And where will they stand? And are there more conversations that need to be had? So that's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys. So again, I was just handed this. I watched the select board meeting, so I can give you the information based on what I know from that. But really, this is the Newtown seal, Newtown logo, I guess, for lack of a better word. They've gone with this kind of Ranger red color for all of the signs. They've gone with Times New Roman for the font, and they've gone with this sleigh motif. And I bring that up because in this packet that they presented, if I can ever get it to shrink down again, you'll kind of see this very uniform look, which can be really good. Very uniform look. Something I really like is these kind of directional signs, which I think are really useful and will be really good. So there's positive here. They have mocked up this green for conservation. Again, conservation is another one of these areas where they have jurisdiction over what the signs look like and what the signs will say. And so the one that I kind of wanted to bring to you guys is the library one, which they have indicated on, I think, page 17.
Way
which
in
is
the end.
somewhere.
I went through the whole thing. and I'm like,
Yes,
where's the library?
Which again, it's the exact same carbon copy of all of the other signs that will be downtown. And so really, I wanted to just kind of open up the discussion to hear where your thoughts are. I have two major concerns. One is our existing sign, while it is not, you can't really see it here, it's hard to see, but you know what our existing sign looks like.
Yeah.
The books, exactly.
Yeah, so my biggest concern and kind of my nail in the coffin here with my concern about this is that I think this sign assumes a lot of things. I think this sign assumes that people can read and that people can read English. I think we are dealing with a lot of children. I think we are dealing with a lot of people whose English is not their first language. And if we're just putting Times New Roman, Westboro Public Library on the sign, I don't know that we're doing a service to people who might be driving by. I mean, I imagine many of you have driven by with your children. They see the big books outside and they say, oh, that's the library. We want that experience for people. And so that's one concern that I have. The other concern that I have, and these are overcomable, but the other concern that I have is, we have spent hundreds of years with our own unique brand identity of the town. In so much that there is a mosaic in our 1908 building that has a unique library logo. That was not the town's logo. And so we have this long history of having a very unique brand identity within the town as a library. And not only that, but we've poured a lot of money into our own logos and our own brand identity and building this with our public. And I just have concerns with having this really unique brand identity that we've worked really hard on, and then putting a town seal with just Times New Roman font on our lawn. That's my concern. That's where I'm coming from. I do think there's a middle ground. There's somewhere where we can meet them. I think it's worth having discussions. But that's kind of my main concern. I have other concerns in terms of like, our sign should be welcoming, our sign should be imaginative, our sign should have our grow, learn, inspire on it. It should be something that invites people in, and I'm not sure. I think this is strictly informational, versus I think what we would want to invoke in a welcoming sign, maybe something a little, I don't know, something a little bit different. So I don't know, I just wanted to throw it out there because these discussions are being had. I was a little surprised by the conversation, by the email. I kind of wish we were engaged in the process earlier.
What, I didn't get a chance to watch the select board meeting yet. What did they say in that meeting about boards like that, like buildings like ours, departments?
So,
It's us in the school committee
yeah,
essentially.
yeah,
have a
and
board that has.
rec and conservation.
But they don't have a bill.
No.
Right, so like it's us in the school committee that has bills.
So
Yeah, I think what they said was it depended on how some of the lands were done at town meeting on who has jurisdiction over it, so it's even tricky with them. My take on what was said, and I encourage you all to watch it yourselves, was that they were hopeful that the boards would fall in line with what was presented.
Of course they were.
Did
They acknowledge that they had, like,
So
Nobody-
it's not a requirement. Exactly.
It's unclear.
Correct. They have not voted this in yet. This was purely informational. I believe the plan is for the next select board meeting for them to have an idea of, and there's only so much grant money, so they
Well,
will,
that's my next question.
yeah, they,
Are they offering to buy us a sign?
no, they are not. What they are gonna do is look at what are the most important signs and prioritize those. And so the email that came from me was,
You know where we fall there.
yeah,
So,
should you replace your sign? Would you replace it with this? Was the question.
excuse me,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm really annoyed by this. Why are we coming in so late in the process? Point you made, but
It's a great question.
well, it wasn't a question.
It is.
It was.
That any of us could have
Bridget.
attended, to be fair.
Yeah, they have been talking about wayfinding for a while now. I don't think I was aware that it included our building to this level, so.
Especially when they showed the map, they kind of cut it off before our building.
Yeah,
And so I thought, oh, okay.
yeah, I didn't think, I saw that and I didn't think we were included.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Go ahead.
back to my point.
Yeah.
Which was that, point which was going to be that you mentioned perhaps finding some middle ground. And I was, as you were talking, it occurred to me that you've been quite good at the graphic design. Is that an icon that we can use and add to this? Something to make our sign distinct from what they're doing, but yet still be clearly part of the signage family?
We can accept the Times New Roman.
I think before you
That's the
answer
hard
that
part for me.
question, I think a question to think about is, was replacing our sign in the project?
Oh, good question.
So it's not currently
It's not.
in the scope of our project. Our hope before we knew this was going on was that that was something that we could work with our foundation to replace, because we were really hoping that the problem is we replace nothing outside. No one will know driving by that the inside is different. And so our hope was that that could be what we did, but it is not included in
Yeah,
the
it
scope
is
of our
right now
project.
In a project that we are trying to keep very tight, not in that, I just want everyone to be aware that replacing, it's not like, hey, you're gonna be replacing the sign at the library with your project, can you do this? That is not in our scope right now.
Right.
Sign cost. More than you.
I'm sure it costs a ton.
Remember, I remember batting this around at a meeting when we bought the sign for the books. Or, I guess I'm trying to figure out where the money came from. Was it a donation?
For this sign or?
No, the sign with the books. What was that?
The original
The-
sign, yeah,
This
this sign.
original
This one.
sign.
Yeah, yeah.
I
that-
think it
that-
has to, because it was replaced in 2008 with the 100th anniversary of the library. That I'm guessing that it was donations.
And she was cool.
So one thing, first of all, we need the funding. But second of all, we have no obligation.
No.
So we could say, all right, we'll stick with the color.
Yes.
We'll do the color.
Yeah.
We won't, throw up something, bright red or purple or anything. We'll stick with the town's color if we can. I'm thinking in terms of compromise.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things is we do have to look at kind of how to compromise our, again, before we knew this project was going on, I think our hope and our goal was to match that sign with the new interior colors and also the new colors of the logo, which kind of are similar, but they kind of rely more on a navy blue with kind of that red and those oranges as secondary colors. That was the hope, but I think I don't know. I don't know the answer here.
What is the speculate on ideas on this? Since this has not been, I'm gonna say, let's pause this discussion. Let's do our research. All of us need to read up on all the information on the wayfinding, watch the select board's presentation. There's more information on, I think, the town website on the wayfinding. So let's do our research and then have a thoughtful conversation next month about it. Because we're not tied to anything with this, right? There's no time frame on this right now.
I was gonna ask about a timeline.
Yeah.
Did they give you a timeline or?
No, there was no timeline given. What they did indicate was that the next select board meeting, that this would be something they would be voting on. And so my guess is at that meeting, they're gonna want an answer from Frank on would the boards use this or not.
So
I think that.
Frank could come talk.
I also. think
I will
feedback
let him
of
know.
the-
Please let
the-
Frank, he can tell me to contact me.
I will, I will let
I
them
think
know.
feedback of the literacy issue is super important. Not just for our sign, but probably especially for the library sign, but really.
For all the
And I just think
signs.
that that's really.
Right, if you're
important thing
looking
for
at
them
that sign that has all the things listed,
For feedback, yeah, they're,
we should have a little symbol next to all of them that says a little picture
Yeah.
indication.
just,
of what those
yeah,
things
so I
are.
don't, and also, like, I'd be happy to do that, I just say that, because that,
Yes,
that's how people communicate with them to get feedback, so.
Yeah.
Since we haven't, in all fairness, looked into the document.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
somewhere in the
yeah,
piece that we
yeah,
haven't.
yeah.
included.
So
So
I think.
let's do our due
To
diligence.
read on the town website and watch select board meetings.
Watch the select board meeting and find the town meeting of the town website that has the wayfinding information on it. And let's do our research. If they approach you, please direct them to me and I'll have happy to have a conversation with Frank about, and he can make a pitch to me.
And what is the date of the select board meeting?
It was just,
Tuesday night.
Coming up.
no, not the previous one. Are you talking about the previous?
Well, the
one?
one where
one.
that we're supposed to watch for this.
Oh, it was the
This month.
something teenth. I feel like.
My computer.
I can send it out. I can send out the recording
That would be
just as a
helpful.
link.
Yeah,
That
that
way
would
we
be
don't
great.
have to search
Thank
for
you.
it. I can do that, cause I had it up today. Yeah, I think it's just another piece of, I can understand from town hall's perspective that every department kind of gets treated as just a generic town department, but we know that we're very unique in how we function, how we operate, who we serve, and what you know, what the needs are there and that we serve everybody. And so I do think, to Mary's point, it's worth kind of diving into a little bit more so that you guys can make a, informed argument.
Yeah.
One way or another.
I absolutely agree that we need to read more and learn more. I will also say that sometimes as a group, we have expressed frustration that we are treated differently than other groups in town and other, that the library is treated differently. So I think, there's an argument for being more in line with the town. I don't know if I agree with that argument. I don't know. I need to learn more. So, you know, saying, well, we want to do our thing is gonna work against when we say, well, we're treated differently. So
Well, but if they're not paying for it.
I agree.
And there's nuance, because there's some libraries where, even their website has to be the same as the town website, and it's so hard to exist in that realm. So yeah, I think there's validity there. We do operate very differently as a library. We have a very unique perspective. But yeah, you're right. It does lead to sometimes being othered. Yeah.
I just
It's
don't
just good
understand
at
why this town does everything about the past, as if it's something holy, unless it's, you know, the horse and wagon. Oh, give it up.
Well, it'll be nice to have some wayfinding, like that would be a really
That-
nice
yeah.
thing to have around town, especially if we can make sure the library's included on that. It will be really nice to have.
Going through and I'm like, where's the library?
Well, we should take the win on that, but the library is represented there.
Yeah.
So
It
that
is.
has not always been
I mean,
the
it-
process in the past, so that's a step in the right direction.
If they want to give us a sign, and then we can have our own sign. We can have a little tiny sign up by the stairs that matches theirs, and then we can have our big beautiful sign.
So yeah, okay, let's put a pin in this discussion and,
One thing.
yeah,
Kate, you mentioned, communicating by pictures for those who don't read, for whatever reason. And I look back a couple of 3 years, and a sign that would be a very good picture would be a baby sign out at the fire station, where if you frankly wanna give up your child or whatever, you can drop off the child at the fire
Oh, I
station.
I think we do have one.
yeah.
Yeah.
New?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
noticed
it's
it.
been there
Yeah,
for a while.
I noticed
Yeah.
it the last time I was there for a department head meeting.
Oh, all
So
right.
yeah, it's a great idea. Yep.
All right, I do have. No, we don't drop
No,
the kids
don't
off
leave
and
your
leave them at
babies
the
in the
library.
That's what.
Not unless they're over 12.
Okay, so.
Anything else?
No, so just, our date for our next meeting, I will say, is also, we ran into this last year, it's also the same night as my child's open house. And so, we can still do it that night, and I may not be able to be here, and Lynn can run it, or we can look at, moving it. I know, I'm cool with whatever you guys wanna do.
Special
So,
calendar.
Much like last year, October also still has 5 Wednesdays this year. I'm fine moving it to October 1st, which will then still give us 4 weeks before.
And we don't have a September meet?
Objection to
That'll
that.
be on
the
September-
first would be
Instead of
October
September
1st.
24th. Rosie moving it to October 1st, bumping it 1 week. And then, because October has 5 weeks.
So we do it twice a week, I mean, twice a month, that one.
Technically, October will do it twice, we'll do it on October 1st instead of.
And where would the other one be?
Oh, yep, never mind.
It's Yom Kippur.
I cannot do it then.
You know, I'm not as important as you.
I wish it would accurately.
Rosh Hashanah is Tuesday the 24th.
And also, fall town meeting is the 21st. They had to move that date for,
You really
Wally?
Of October.
Yes,
Wait, fall town meetings,
October 21st,
Oh.
I believe. October 21st is the new date.
okay, so. Any other day of the week that works? Thursday, Tuesday or Thursday that week? Or Lynn can
Tuesday?
just run the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, either one is
I could do
fine.
Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I went back to October.
If I was the only one at a conflict, just do it without me. I mean, people miss.
Yeah, we can like.
So we like having you.
So
If-
what's
just
the-
okay.
you guys don't want to write.
Because we did do that last year, right? I
Yeah,
feel like we did do that same thing.
that Lynn did it.
No, we did October 1, like we
We
did in the
did.
beginning.
Um,
Whatever works.
So what are we talking about doing now?
we're talking about either leaving it on September 24th and just being fine that Kate's not here and having Lynn run the meeting. Participate for the library half, or bumping it a week to October 1st.
Except we can, I thought we couldn't do October 1st because.
I can't do it.
Right.
And we can't do
So you.
the Tuesday of that week?
Minutes.
Then we
So-
can't do it. Tuesdays are not. Tuesdays are not. Yeah,
Okay. Thursday of that week?
well, that's, we can't do Thursday. Well, then let's just leave it on the 24th and have Lynn do it. It's fine.
Okay,
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
all right.
Excellent. Okay. Anything else?
That is it. That's all I have. Did you have anything?
No.
I have good news, please.
Go for it.
Oh. I brought myself out to one of the library, adult services programs a couple of weeks ago, and boy, it's a super night out. They
Yeah.
had food, good food with nice cheese, fruit, veggies. If you skip dinner, you could have some nutrition here. But, I guess this was part of the adult services department, and Tracy, who is from the adult services department, and Amy, who is a library assistant, gave a great little program called Welcome to the Book Tasting. I kept calling it Book Bites, because we got a bite to eat and a bite of many different books. They must have had 36 books out here. And Tracy kind of talked about different genres that were represented. And Amy, my gosh, this woman could give you a book report on half of the books in here. And it was a lot of fun, and eventually people loosened up and made some suggestions. Oh, you like that one? Well, this author would go well with him or her. And passed the books around, and some people made some suggestions of their own. And it was just a nice little sharing session. It wasn't big, but it was good. The ladies really put a lot into it, the colored brochure. I think Tracy made this up, and it was very, very fruitful.
I'm
So-
really glad that you brought that particular one up. So this is part of something that we're trying, which is getting more of our library assistant staff involved in our programming. So this is very new for us. So Amy is one of our library assistants. She voraciously reads more than anyone, and
Yeah, I think you put this together.
yeah, and yeah,
The author, 4 books by that author.
it's amazing. So we've been really working with our programming staff, our librarian staff, to identify library assistants who would be really good partners on these type of programs, because they generally are our biggest readers, and they have skills beyond, what you see at our desk. So yeah, we were really excited to see that happen. We're glad that you came and that it was a fun night. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing. And thanks
And we
for.
met a few other people that we didn't know, and
Nice.
How did you decide to do it? Did you just find it on the website or like what did you?
someone called me and said, there's a book meeting at the library, you wanna go? Seems like a good idea, out of the house, and she says, and they're gonna have food. So, as they say, feed them and they will come.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's right.
If you've done. Awesome. Anything else? Terrific. My computer's not working. Oh, no, it's back. Okay, that brings us to treasurer's report.
In our second month, we are pretty much right on track. Yeah, it's not much to say
Yeah.
about it, honestly.
That looks good.
Yeah.
I had two questions. I forget what they were. Okay. Which one was it? I'll find it. Never mind, I can't
This
find
one?
it. It was like, I didn't think
Oh,
I
seven
saw
lines
it
of
in what
text
was
so far.
left. The ch-
Yeah,
Is it miscellaneous? Service.
there are 2 cells.
No,
That's all
it
the strips.
was,
CW Martis.
oh, dues membership, we haven't had to pay anything on that yet?
I have not.
Okay. That wasn't it. What was it? Oh, here we go. It was 5219B.
Yes, I need to fix that cell.
Okay, that's just a type. Okay.
Yeah,
There was another one like that. I can't remember where it was.
it's that right-hand column. I just have to
Yeah, this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's
fix
what
my
I
last
figured.
column. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
it's just a
figured.
cell that I have to fix.
That was it.
Awesome. Then I will take a motion to accept treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Great. And we have some minutes to approve. Oh, yeah. My fingers are not working tonight. Let's go off your screen. So we're approving minutes from the July 23rd. Did anybody have any changes? I thought it was a good accurate reflection of our business. And yeah, go ahead. Did I hear something?
I'm sorry, could we just make this a little bigger?
Sure.
Kate's name's misspelled.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Sorry,
One R,
Fixed.
2 C's.
I found most of them. Sorry, I typed fast.
It's okay, it's a difficult name.
All right.
I
now-
had it spelled wrong more times, but I could most of them.
I'll take a motion to accept the minutes as just amended.
Just this one, or are we voting on both of them?
Oh, we're gonna do this one first.
Okay.
So moved.
Kate, Janine second. All in favor?
It was absent, so I'll abstain.
Sure, same, and then other one.
It's so hard when I zoom in, I can't get back.
is no. I'm back in the track. What was the other one? Oh, there we go.
This one, July 28th.
July 28th.
Yeah.
Executive session. All's good.
Needs to be ROL.
Say that again?
Roll call. Not ROLL.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Did I do this all?
that was 2L, one roll
Oh.
calls. Yeah. All right,
Guys, I'm tired these days.
Yeah,
Very
I
quick
can imagine.
tired.
a motion to accept these minutes. Thank you. Michael second it.
Okay.
All in favor? Okay. Good to go. Thank you. So for Friends update? Anything on them?
No,
Foundation?
no,
We made any progress on decisions for naming and
we have not. So that is something that we need to kind of do some work on our end.
okay.
Dig some more stuff up and come up with kind of a way forward with identifying items. Yes,
Okay, let's set up a meeting. And we'll
Okay.
make a plan. Look forward with that.
that sounds great.
Good.
I just have a question about the foundation. Do you put them regularly? Have they been active?
I do.
Because it's I mean, I feel like this is a great.
Yes, I do. So, our last meeting,
I
yeah,
was also thinking, this is something I'm always more inclined to do is just donate on a monthly basis, like a small amount.
Right, like an
So I don't
ongoing.
know.
yeah, I
yeah.
think that's a really good, piece of feedback. So right now what we're working on is identifying, a naming policy. That we can kind of lean on because we'll have a lot of things to be named and we need to kind of make sure that we're doing things that's approved by you guys, but also falls within town guidelines and things like that. So, leaning on how we've done it in the past and also identifying things that will be in the new building to name. Because there is such thing as going too far, right? Like, and what are the rules about when can we decommission something that's been named, because it will happen. So there's those things that we're looking at. We also talked about mini golf as a fundraiser again, and making sure that that's all booked and a go, because I do think it will be really fun to do it in this space while we have it.
Yeah.
And we raised a good amount of money last year, and this is a great opportunity to not only use that as a fundraiser here, but also as an opportunity to talk about larger scale donations at that event. Since now we have
Again,
an ongoing, because we have an actual project that's moving forward now, where last year we still weren't sure.
Let's touch base after this meeting, and you and I put a meeting on the next
Yeah.
week, and then we'll make a path forward.
Sounds good?
Sure. So agenda items for next month's meeting. We'd expect to see hopefully some info if they can get us proposals by then, for that. I'm gonna hope that we can have some information on some sort of naming policy, since that'll be more relevant sooner rather than later. What policy do you have coming up for next?
We have safe child policy for September.
Okay. And any information they can send out ahead of time on that would be great, I know she's been working on that. So Wayfinder. Yeah, Wayfinder, yes, definitely.
We're gonna be busy.
We are gonna be busy, it's gonna be a big one. Okay. Sounds good, and project update.
So can we discuss the Wayfinder without Kate here
Sure.
successfully? We can, that'll work, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't mean to say that. you-
Oh,
no.
Something coming up? Okay. That being said, at 8:28, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second it? Dot, all in favor? Thank you.